My headphones are, they're a few years old. They're good phones, but they're getting old, and their ear pads are starting to wear out. The stitching has come apart, and the foam's all out of shape, so it doesn't quite give the same sound anymore without the pad in its old way. So I just ordered some replacement pads, and I haven't opened them up yet. So I'm gonna see how they attach, and if I can. Breathe. Breathe is the reason I'm a member of SOCAN. Thanks to some radio station in Vancouver that actually played it for a little bit back when. It let me pass the test to become a SOCAN member, and actually generated me a very, very, very small but very real check for this song, which I appreciate. It's although I don't think it's the most popular thing I ever produced, it is. It's the only one to get any kind of play or anything, which is cute. I like that. It's fun to have that happen. I don't remember the radio station. I don't think it was a major station. It was. I don't remember which one it was. When we made Breathe, we actually produced a small handful of physical copies, and did the whole send them out to radio thing. So I guess it paid off. I guess that worked. I guess no reason I couldn't have done that for the other ones, but that's a very expensive business to get into. I don't even know if people still do that anymore. Print up a bunch of CDs and put them in envelopes and mail them away. Not that it's been that long ago, but a lot has changed in the last 10 years, and I don't know. Does sending a CD out to radio stores is that even a thing anymore? I don't know. I kind of gave up on that. More out of the expense than anything. But Breathe. Breathe is a very appropriate first song because it was, may not have been the first song I wrote, but back when Chad and I decided, hey, we were going to try and make music together, we went down to his apartment, I think it was actually his grandma's apartment, and we went there, and he showed me a song he was working on, something called the Bottle Song, and I created a few parts for it. We went back and forth, and in about 5 or 10 minutes, it was done. Boom, we had a song, and we were mutually impressed with each other. And it's like, wow, this is really rolling. This thing, we're really getting started here. And how do these come off? And so after we wrote that, we heard a boom, 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 boom on the ceiling above us. So we went from the apartment down to the laundry room, which I guess, I don't know, it had liquor bottles in the corner and stuff. So I guess the laundry room was where people went if they wanted to be loud at a late hour. So we started in on our second song, and which was a song I was getting started with. So it was one I introduced to him, and so we played it. We started working on it, and for the rest of his life, we never agreed on the song. We never really finished writing it. Um, what ended up here happened to be is really my version, which Chad never really agreed with, and he always um, threatened that as soon as he did his solo album, he was doing his version of it, which to my knowledge he never really made any headway on. Um, and so Breathe was just kind of this thing that lived between us. How what was happening, and it was kind of it actually turned out to be a really good thing, though it was frustrating at the time. Is Chad and I got in the habit of we'd meet usually once a week. He ended up moving in with a girlfriend of his who had a very nice basement, so we kind of turned that to our meeting spot. And it was across town, so it took me a couple of hours to get there. And I would be hauling a guitar and an amp on the bus. It was, and there was a 20-minute walk at the end of the bus to get to the place. It was quite all. So I'd get there, and so I'd spend the week kind of coming up with ideas and stuff, and I'd bring in new parts for Breathe and stuff, and Chad would sort of listen to them, and he'd be like, nah, 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 and then he'd want to. There was kind of this little part, which was just kind of this two-note back and forth thing that he'd like to. What he really liked to do is just to repeat that again and again while he just tried to mumble out some kind of stream of conscious, but never really went anywhere. But I kept coming back each week with new parts, and he'd say, no, 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 not his vision, which was maddening at the time. But those rejected parts would go on to become other songs. So Breathe became a song that breathed out other songs. It was really a song of songs. And what's funny is the songs that started out as a new part of Breathe would often become songs that were completely 180 degrees different from Breathe. For comparison, on A Time of Madness, there's a song called Sucker for Punishment. It was a version of Breathe in its infancy, and it eventually became that song. It was a nah song. No, nah, nah. That was Chad. No, that's. And then he'd be moaning like a moose over that one part for the next hour. Man. Breathe. Breathe. It also, the video for it was interesting in that it was, it was part of like a little home movie competition at a local film festival, and it was a finalist in it, and which was kind of cool. And so it was yeah, a lot of fun things happened around this song. Chad was actually in the video. It was a cartoon, but he was the kind of the voice, the sound effects behind the things on it. So even though he didn't approve of the song, he still played along. He was always a supporter, always a cheerleader, and I appreciate that. Breathe. The song of songs. Oh, I didn't even get started on these. Ooh, they come right out. Oh, that's good. And could it be this simple? Could it be this easy? Will it just pop right in? With a little strength and eagerness? With a hammer, perhaps? Does it need a hammer? Yeah, oh well. Well, not everything works out on the first try. Tomorrow is going to be Rise. That's the first track that Mike plays on. And I'll tell you about that then. Bye-bye.